My 27 female fiancé, 30 male, and I agreed on a mutual boundary about no cheating or anything inappropriate regarding our relationship at our bachelor parties. Our parties were both on the weekend. My friends and I had booked a yacht for my party, and we bought our drinks and ordered takeout before we went, so most of our money was spent on the yacht. We had a blast. All of us got very wasted, to be honest, and the next day when I returned home, I was suffering from a hangover, and my fiancé was kind of upset with me and believed I was being inappropriate. So for days I felt guilty, as if I'd broken some kind of boundary, when the worst thing I did was drink too much with my friends, sing karaoke, and make our own party. As far as I was aware, my fiancé had respected all boundaries we'd set, which is why I felt more guilty for acting immature at my party. But yesterday, one of my bridesmaids, who's also the girlfriend of one of my fiancé's groomsmen, called me crying and said she'd send me a video and I can do as I wish with that info. She sent me the video, and it was some of the groomsmen and my fiancé dancing with nearly naked ladies and doing extremely inappropriate things with them. My fiancé was dancing with them and touching them in ways he shouldn't. My bridesmaid's boyfriend also filmed himself. He was wrecked. I showed my fiancé and we had a huge fight over this, and I cussed him out for making me feel guilty for being drunk at my party while he did all that at his. He kept apologizing and begging for forgiveness, and he said that we both did stupid things and that we should leave it behind, and promised he'd never do something like that again, and he just got carried away. I didn't buy any of that, so I called off my wedding and announced it to my guests by sending them emails. I notified our families separately, and I've been called all the names in the book by both families for doing so. They said they understand why I might feel upset, but these things are normal to happen, and I shouldn't let my emotions take over, and how it's irrational to call off a wedding that costs thousands over such a silly small thing. My parents especially have been extra hostile and say I'm embarrassing them, and how instead of trying to work things out and move on, I'm throwing everything away. I don't think I'm the idiot, but for a more unbiased and third-party view, am I the idiot in any way and being irrational? Not the idiot, it's not normal, and you had a very specific agreement that he broke and lied about it. Not only that, but he purposely blamed you for drinking too much because he was building up a defense in case he got caught. You both did stupid things? Heck no. He's trying to gaslight his way to forgiveness. If he really wants forgiveness, he can work for it, starting with rebuilding your trust in him, which could take years, by the way. The idea that the parties are last nights of freedom is awful. Why the heck are you all pledging yourselves to each other if you view it as a prison sentence? Sounds like OP had the same mindset and didn't want that stuff, and fiancé blew it, literally. Nah, he's a dirtbag. Good on you for standing up for yourself, OP. Congrats, OP, you dodged a bullet. Your ex clearly tried to gaslight you, even had the nerve to say that you both messed up when it was him all along. However, you also just saw the true colours of the people around you. Your friend who showed you the video is a true friend. As for your parents, I'm sorry, but they care more about keeping appearances than your welfare. Yes, the family's upset that they've wasted a lot of money on the wedding arrangements is an extra slap in the face. They don't care about her happiness long term and expect her to sacrifice that because they spent money on her wedding. To a cheating idiot, no less. Agree, calling off a wedding is easier than getting a divorce later. There's no such thing as one last fling. OP, I'm so sorry your family cares more about money and public image than you getting married to a cheater. I also feel bad for your faithful friend in the same boat. I think you and your bridesmaid should go on your honeymoon together. I think you need it. My husband and I have been trying to have kids for 3 years. I've had a series of losses and not a single pregnancy was successful. Our recent loss was a month ago, and although my husband never said anything up until now, this was a difficult time for me personally. The tension and emotions are overwhelming, and I've become too sensitive even if someone mentions the topic. He took me to his family's house for dinner last night, and his mum brought up my loss. The look of disappointment on her face made me lose my appetite completely. She went on and on about what may have caused it. Then my husband chimed in and said that he's starting to conclude that maybe I'm incapable of being a mom. I was floored for 2 reasons. One is that he'd even say such a thing. 2 is that no doctor has told me that there was something wrong with me specifically, so for him to declare I was incapable of bearing children and being a mom hurt like a sting. I looked at him and he was like, "What?" Then he told me not to get offended since he was being honest. He said he loves me and thinks I'm perfect, but still thinks that I'm flawed in that area, referring to motherhood. I had it at that point. I just got up from my seat, took my stuff, and headed to the door. I said nothing and just made my way out. He shouted at me, but I didn't stop. I went home, and he came and started unloading on me about how immature, too sensitive, and ridiculous I was. He said he was giving his honest opinion about the matter, and I had no right to police the words that came out of his mouth. Whether I like what I'm hearing or not, it's still the truth. We argued some, then we stopped talking altogether. He keeps saying I exaggerated and walked out during dinner and disrespected him and his family over literally nothing. I'm unsure if I handled this the right way or acted out of emotions. Am I the idiot? Your next words to him should be, to be the best mother to my future kids, I probably need to shed some pounds. How much do you weigh again? And then leave his dumb butt. Honestly, he's trash, and if his own family didn't react disgusted at what he says, then you know where he got it. Not the idiot, you deserve better. I'm almost speechless. I'm so very sorry for your loss and heartache. Before you consider another try, I think you may wish to re-evaluate whether this is the man you want to parent with forever. His insensitivity is outrageous, and then he doubled down by attacking again at home behind his interpretation of the truth. What a total idiot. Please consider counselling for yourself, for your grief and frustration, and to determine whether you really want to continue with this abusive bore. Genuinely, I don't believe there's such a thing as too sensitive when it comes to your own loss. Seriously, and what your husband said wasn't the truth, it was his evil, crappy opinion that he should never ever have voiced aloud to you. Do not have kids with this man. He's probably the type that is just brutally honest. God, I hate those people. Your mother-in-law was wrong to bring it up. It's not for group discussion. I hope you know this, but you didn't cause your loss, and your mother-in-law shouldn't have implied you did. How quickly his family looked at you as the apparent cause is how quickly you should consider finding a better husband. OP, you have not handled it the right way. The right way is to change the locks, send him to mom, and divorce him. Honesty without kindness is cruelty. No one deserves to be treated like that. My 24 female best friend Kate, 24 female, and I have lived together since we were 20. I'm staying at a house which belongs to me after my grandma passed away and left it to me. I didn't ask Kate to pay me any rent, so she just contributed to the house expenses such as bills, etc. I've been with my fiancé, 24 male, since we were 19. During our first years together, he'd occasionally visit my place and I'd also go to his place. But after we got more serious, he started spending more time at my place, and he'd usually stay in my room and not bother Kate. At first, Kate didn't have a problem, but later she said I needed her permission to bring someone over. I respected her wishes, and whenever she didn't want him over, I just went to my fiancé's place. But then she'd make a scene even the few times he'd come over. She'd also make a scene about me leaving to stay with him and how I'm a tourist at my own house. For the record, I never stopped paying for my share of bills and expenses. One time, the electricity and water bills were higher because my fiancé would have visited and would have used hot water to shower and open the AC and heat on, etc. I told Kate I'd pay more and she'd have to pay her usual share, and she doesn't have to pay any more. But she didn't like that and demanded my fiancé pays as well. I told her that's not for her to decide and that's on him and me to figure out. Back when that happened, we weren't engaged yet. But because I knew the proposal time was near, I started trying to have convos with Kate about how she should try finding her own house or go live with her parents because I plan on using this house to live with my partner and start a family here. She didn't believe the proposal would happen soon and said she would look into it when the time came. I tried to warn her countless times, but she never took me seriously. So then my fiancé proposed. That was 4 months ago. Kate was shocked and mentally broke down about how she couldn't live on her own and I should just give her some time. I told her that my fiancé plans to move in 3 months and she could stay with her parents. My fiancé moved in a month ago and Kate has made no move of finding a place or going to her parents. My fiancé has started paying bills and everything in the house, but Kate fights with him over household stuff and arrangements. I confronted her and I told her that by next week all her things will be packed and she'll be out of my house, and she doesn't get to make the rules here and that the house belonged to me in case she forgot. She packed a couple of clothes and left that day, and for the past few days she sent her sister and mom to collect her stuff, and they both claim I've been a crappy friend to Kate and how unacceptable it is that I prioritised housing my fiancé over my childhood best friend and just kicking her out like this. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You don't have a best friend. You have a best leech. You gave her plenty of warning that she needed to leave. She was far too entitled to your home. Yep, she doesn't pay rent. How does she have the nerve to get crappy when OP brings her partner to her own house? I am gobsmacked that this leech wasn't kicked out years ago. She needs to grow up and start paying her own bills. You don't need to put your evolving life on hold to keep caring for an adult child you didn't birth. I'm amazed she had the balls to say you had to ask permission to bring people over in the first place. It's your house. You offered her kindness by giving her a roof over her head. Seriously, she got 4 years of free rent and 3 months' notice and then waited another month to be told to hit the road finally. 4 years was plenty of time to save up a nice down payment for her own place. Is Kate dumb? Is your fiancé supposed to not live with you? What is the point of being together? Is your friend secretly lesbian and thought you were in a relationship or something? What she did makes no sense whatsoever. No one in their right mind thinks they're the priority over someone else's significant other. If you pick up a starving dog and make him prosperous, he will not bite you. This is the principal difference between a dog and a man. OP, you're being bitten right now. I, 45 male, have 2 daughters, young teen and teen, who are both excited to attend my brother, 38, and sister-in-law's 22 wedding happening in 12 days. So was I until this morning when my brother and sister-in-law came for an unexpected visit. Another recent event was my younger daughter having to take a break from her soccer team after she tripped on the ball and suffered an injury to her face. The scars she gained from the impact were noticeable, but certainly not ruining. My sister-in-law didn't know about this and started acting oddly around my youngest daughter. After a quick snack, my sister-in-law asked to speak to me alone in a reluctant manner and told me that my daughter might make the guests uncomfortable at her wedding. When I asked her why she thought that way, she stated that the scar was noticeable and it would be best if my eldest daughter attended only. I got defensive quickly and told her that if my daughter wasn't allowed to come, I won't come. My brother overheard and tried to mediate the situation, but my sister-in-law told me that if I didn't want to come, that was up to me. Ultimately, I told them to leave and that I wasn't attending the wedding. My sister-in-law left quickly, but my brother said that my sister-in-law shouldn't impact my choice to go and that it was a tradition in every wedding to have the groom's brother attend. Am I the idiot? Wait, what? Seriously, what in the flipping flapjacks is wrong with your future sister-in-law and brother? The first reaction should have been like, "Oh my goodness, niece-to-be, I'm so sorry you went through that and so glad you're on the mend. You're one tough cookie." But clearly, sister-in-law missed the compassion chip when she came down the assembly line. Not the idiot, OP. That's what your brother gets for marrying a 22-year-old bride. Total immaturity. Oh, your brother is also an idiot. Mediate? What is there to mediate? There should be no dispute that his fiancée was engaged in flagrant idiotorization, and then to suggest that his fiancée shouldn't affect your decision to attend. Holy hairballs, that is not what's affecting your decision. Your future sister-in-law disinviting your daughter for a flocked-up reason is why. Wait, there's more. It was a tradition in every wedding to have the groom's brother attend. You can tell your brother it's also tradition not to marry someone young enough to be your child. Yeah, this incident should be a huge wake-up call to your brother about the type of person he's marrying, although the age gap indicates he doesn't have the best judgment anyway. Don't go, OP. Your brother is marrying a shallow individual and you are standing up for your daughter. No one will be afraid that shallow, too young for your brother worries about her day being ruined and pictures being forever scarred because of your daughter's appearance. She's too immature, to be honest. I have some neighbours, a young couple around their 20s. They've lived in the apartment next to mine for 2 years. They have a dog, a small one. I've always noticed them taking the dog on walks, but for the past 2 months I just see them putting some pads on their patio and letting the dog out there. I've made some complaints to them multiple times. I've called them lazy and told them to give up the dog if they can't care for it properly. Finally, I told them they were going with the easy way of not taking the dog for a walk and letting them do whatever on the patio. Their argument is that first of all they clean up after the patio at least twice a day and that the dog goes on walks every night. The girl also said it's none of my business why she and her boyfriend don't take the dog out on walks and they don't have to answer to me. The next morning I called the police and public health services on them. Authorities came and inspected and said that no laws are broken and as long as the area is getting cleaned up daily then the couple isn't breaking any laws. I told them that the couple doesn't take the dog for walks and the police said that the couple has their reasons for that and I don't have to know these reasons. Now my whole apartment building sees me as the witch who called the police on the couple for that reason. I later found out from another neighbour who confronted me that the reason they let the dog go on the patio is that the girl is pregnant and on bed rest. Her boyfriend takes the dog out late at night when he comes from work, and I wasn't entitled to that info since they didn't break any laws in the first place, and despite her bed rest, the girl still tries to do her best. Everyone in the building is now hostile to me. Am I the idiot? Shocking. Yes, you are the idiot. You called the police on your neighbours, accusing them of animal neglect because they let their dog outside to relieve itself and clean it up, but take it on fewer walks than you account for personally. The police informed you there is a good reason for all of this and to mind your business. Through someone else, you found out the woman is on bed rest in her pregnancy and how their dog walking schedule has been altered as a result. And knowing all of this, you still wonder if you're the idiot. You made a building full of enemies because you're nosy and intrusive. Don't the police have better things to do than cater to your petty? I can't even imagine why anyone would think this was not okay, let alone a police matter. Opie needs to get a life. All they do is sit around watching what their neighbours are doing all day. You say the dog does his business on a pad on their patio. Their patio, not your business, at all. And you call the poop police? Come on, you curtain twitcher. I hope when the baby comes, they'll change diapers out on the patio just to mess with you. Right, Lord help the local cops when OP finds out about indoor cats and litter boxes. A whopping you are the idiot. There are many reasons why people can't walk their dogs. The dog may have an injury that's healing. It may have developed arthritis and can't walk as much or as long without pain. Or a slew of other reasons that are none of your business. Sounds like you need a hobby if you have this much time to monitor your neighbours.